So we just got the unemployment numbers for last month just now, and they are bad. 14.7% unemployment rate is what we are faced with in this country now. And to make matters worse, just a few weeks ago, we had the strongest economy of the last 50 years with an unemployment rate of just 3.5%. This radical shift in the economy has been the fastest economic downturn in recorded history in this country. It's not even close. Virtually no working person today has ever seen an unemployment rate as high as it is today. And through all of this, there have been a myriad of proposals for new stimulus bills, and that at least can be a silver lining to this entire ordeal. We can at least have some softness on the landing of getting back to normal with some new stimulus proposals. I'm going to be talking about them in this video. I'm going to be specifically talking about a monthly stimulus check, which is just brought to the forefront this morning, which I think is pretty interesting because it came out of the Senate, which means it may have a little bit more traction than bills coming out of the House. I'm going to be talking about that bill in this video. I'm going to tell you all you need to know, and I'm going to give you the latest news. My name is Kevin Conway. I'm a lawyer from California, and I make personal finance videos and stimulus news update videos all the time. So if you aren't a subscriber, consider subscribing to stay informed because I bring you the news as quickly as I can and as clearly as I can. Like I said, this proposal just came out this morning, and here I am releasing a video now. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and give a like to the video if it helped you out in any way. Now let's jump right into it. If you've been following the channel, you know that there are new talks of stimulus bills all the time, whether they come as a refundable payroll tax credit via the Patriot Pay or the Money for the People Act, which is again something that is a monthly stimulus check. There is a lot of movement, a lot of momentum for an additional stimulus bill in the near future. And here we have a new stimulus proposal called the Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act. So what is in this bill exactly? Well, it's very similar to the Money for the People Act insofar as it gives a monthly ongoing stimulus payment to individuals. This payment is in the amount of $2,000 per individual plus $2,000 for each child you have, up to 3 children. So if you and your spouse have 2 children, you're going to be receiving $2,000 for your spouse, $2,000 for you, and $2,000 for each one of them, bringing your total to $8,000 per month. And again, this is an ongoing stimulus payment. It is not a one-time payment. It is an ongoing stimulus payment. So how long would this go on for? Well, unlike the Money for the People Act, the timeline is a little bit shorter insofar as it's 3 months after the Health and Human Services Department declares an end to the pandemic. So for example, if the pandemic ended in June, it would end 3 months after that. If the pandemic didn't end for another 12 months, well, it would end 3 months after that time period. The payments would also be retroactive all the way until March of this year, right when things started to get really bad and unemployment started to go up dramatically. And so if this bill passed, you would likely see several $1,000s in the payments that you would have gotten all the way until March, and then an ongoing payment every single month until the pandemic ends. Let me know what you guys think of this proposal in the comments below. I want to hear what you have to say. So let's talk about some of the restrictions on this proposal. There is an income cutoff, and if you're an individual, that is $100,000, and then it begins to phase out. And if you are married filing jointly, that is $200,000, and then it begins to phase out. And if you are the head of household, that is $150,000. So here's how the phase out works. It is 10% of every dollar above that threshold is subtracted from your monthly stimulus check. So if you make $120,000 as an individual, well, that $20,000, you take 10% of that, that's $2,000. And at that point, you do not receive any stimulus check because you deduct that $2,000 off of your $2,000 stimulus check. So for all intents and purposes, if you make above $120,000, then you will not be receiving any of this monthly economic crisis stimulus check. This income cutoff is supposed to encapsulate the majority of Americans nonetheless, because according to the Social Security Office, a full 9 out of 10 people make below that income cutoff and therefore would be eligible for this monthly economic stimulus check. With all that being said, let's talk about some of the downsides to this proposal. And first off, it becomes apparent that this is going to cost a ton of money, and that alone is going to create a lot of obstacles getting through Congress. It is estimated that the payments to people under this act is going to amount to over $400 billion a month. If you look at the total United States budget and then compare that $400 billion a month, which is almost $5 trillion a year, you can quickly see how this is going to cost a lot more than I think a lot of people realize. And because of that, I think it faces an uphill battle as it stands today to get through the Senate just because it's going to cost so much. Now, I think there are ways to solve this. You either reduce the benefit amount, you reduce who is eligible, or you actually reduce the time period at which this phases in and phases out. Also, President Trump has indicated that he wants to take a pause on new stimulus bills for now, and he rather would see something that incentivizes employers to actually hire people back, like a payroll tax credit, as opposed to a monthly ongoing stimulus payment to those people who are working and who are not working as well. And because President Trump holds the veto power, he holds a lot of power over this legislation. So if he wants a payroll tax credit, it's going to be very difficult to pass unless they include that in the bill. And that's only going to further add to the costs of this bill and make it more unlikely to pass, because many of the legislators are going to not want to pass something that has such a huge price tag, especially coming off of the recently passed $500 billion additional stimulus bill in addition to the $2 trillion CARES Act. But one thing is clear, there are bills that are being discussed right now, and it's coming from both the right and the left, and there is going to be a middle ground met, and they are going to come up with a new bill in some fashion. I don't know what it's going to look like, but because we've seen so many of these monthly ongoing stimulus bills proposed, I wouldn't be surprised if there was at least some form of expansion of additional money to people on an ongoing basis. I wouldn't be surprised by that one bit. Like I've said before, I think that'll actually come in the form of expanded unemployment insurance benefits past the July 31st cutoff date of this year for those additional $600 a week in unemployment insurance. I think we're going to see that actually be pushed out further because we are still in a tough economic situation. I mean, we have 14.7% unemployment. Just remember, if you are facing a job loss, be sure to apply for unemployment insurance. That can amount to $600 per week plus whatever your state benefit is, which could be $1,000 per week on average. So with all that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to give this video a like if it helped you out in any way. And if you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay informed with the latest developments in this stimulus bill news. And also check out my other personal finance videos. And again, my name is Kevin Conway, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.